A while back, I watched an episode of Black Mirror starring Dallas Bryce Howard. Some of you may already know what I'm talking about, but in the episode, it depicted a future where everything seemed sunny and bright and everyone was getting along, everyone was perfectly polite. But that was because everyone was working off of a social credit system, or a credit scoring system, if you will, social scoring system, where you were judged and given a 1 out of 5 score based on how good of a person you were in the eyes of the public or the government. And it was very disturbing. It was just a little too close to reality to be okay to watch. Within the show, Dallas Bryce Howard's character goes from being in like an upper 4 to almost a nothing. Just because of one bad incident after another. And the entire time, everyone around her, including Dallas Bryce Howard's character, is acting so very fake. There's nothing really real about it. Everyone's just kind of being forced to behave in ways they wouldn't normally, in order to be able to get a high score on this credit system. And the scary part about it was that if you were low on this credit scoring system, there were things that were restricted to you, whether it be, getting access to rental cars, traveling, even the way you were treated by the general public was based on your scoring system. I think even Community had something of a joke about that with Meow Meow Beans. It was a really great episode. But it all kind of accumulates into this idea that at some point in time in the near future, we were in danger of having a social credit scoring system where that would limit you if you were not in the good graces of the government or the people. Not long after that episode aired, what we ended up seeing was China release something exactly like that. And it is terrifying. And why am I telling you this story? Because I feel like here in the United States, we are just around the corner from that. And I want to make this video kind of as a warning, really, about where we could be in just a matter of years. And it could look a lot like the kind they have already going in China. I want to tell you about China's system first. And it comes from Fox News. What is China's social credit system? China's social credit system is a government program being implemented nationwide to regulate its citizens' behavior based on a point system. Under this system, citizens are ranked in different areas of civil life using data collected from court documents, government or corporate records, and in some cases, citizen observers. Citizens with higher scores have an easier time getting bank loans, free medical checkups, and discounts on heating. I want to highlight this: free medical checkups. The way that you are treated with your health care is dependent on your social credit scoring system. Points have been deducted for traffic violations, selling faulty products, or defaulting on loan payments. In some cases, people with bad social credit scores have been barred from buying airline or train tickets. Other infractions have included smoking in non-smoking zones, buying or playing too many video games, and posting false news stories online, Business Insider reported. People failing to comply have been placed in so-called, quote, blacklists, which companies may reference when considering potential employees. In other cases, students may be denied entry into universities because of their parents' bad social credit scores. China's State Council first introduced the plan in June 2014. The council announced the system would allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step. This is terrifying. So not only would you be punished for your score, you could be punished for your family's score. You could be punished for your friend's score. If you interact with people too much who have a low score, it could affect your score. And this is terrifying. This is how they operate in China, and they're pretty proud of how they actually interact there. Meaning that everyone in China is needing to be obedient, need to obey the rules at all times, or your entire life could be ruined. Just by your daily interactions. You can't travel, you can't go to school, you might not be able to get a job, all because your score is too low. It is exactly like that Black Mirror episode. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because we have this knocking on our door right now in America. Not exactly in the same exact way, but it comes in the form of the vaccine passport. Now, the vaccine passport, how does that relate to a social credit scoring system, you might be asking? Well, it's not too far from it. Really, they're the same in the way that a seed and a sunflower are the same. One grows into the other. And this really is an authoritative foot in the door, this vaccine passport. Now, how can it transform? Well, right now, the whole idea of the vaccine passport is that you get a vaccine for the coronavirus, and if you do, then you can use your passport, which might go on your cell phone, just like in the Black Mirror episode. They can scan it and see that you have the passport, that you've had the vaccine. And so if you have that vaccine, you can travel, or you can enter a store, you can get a job, you can go to class that day. It really kind of boils down to getting access to things that you would want in your everyday life. Even something so far as shipping something off to somebody else. You can't do it unless you have a vaccine passport. It's scary to think about, but it's not ever going to stop there. Some people might say, well, this is just temporary for now. This isn't going to keep going. Of course it won't keep going. Why would it? Well, why would the government, and when has the government ever really given up some piece of authority that they've had as a temporary measure? Ever? There were a lot of things that were supposed to be temporary measures that still exist to this day, such as the FBI. It's scary to think that once this is in place, it is basically an open door for the government to implement more rules. What kind of rules? I don't know. More vaccines? You have to have a vaccine for this and that now. Or, have you committed a felony or a massive, high misdemeanor in the past few years or the past few months? If you have, then guess what? There are certain things that are absolutely restricted to you. You can't fly if you have a felony in the past 2 years, or you haven't completed some sort of, community service in order to make up for it. It is scary to think that they could just use this to pile on more rules, pile on more restrictions to the American people, and they could all do it through the use of a vaccine passport. Or at that point, it wouldn't be considered a vaccine passport. It would be a social credit scoring system. It would be something that is already in place that they can just add more onto. And the media will sell it. They'll sell it as something that is here for our safety. We need to have it in order for everyone to remain safe, in order for us to have a good society, a freer society. And it's not something that we as Americans should hold to or believe. Now, I understand why many people think the vaccine passport is a good idea. It proves that there are people out there who have had the vaccine and can just go wherever they need to go, and it's the safe way of being able to know that we're all COVID free. But it's not really safe. It's not really safe at all. The ease with which the government can control our lives through something as easily as a vaccine passport, even just a vaccine passport, should scare the living tar out of Americans. We need to reject this idea with every fiber of our body. And I am happy to see that many governors, Republican governors, are making it illegal to have a vaccine passport required in their states. Now, this does not mean that this is just going to go away. Many blue state governors, I'm pretty sure, will sign on to it. And if other countries sign on to having some sort of vaccine passport as well, you can bet that things are going to get very, very nasty for a lot of people very quickly. But again, this is authority at its worst, and in the technological age. We need to be very careful about what we approve, especially when it comes to allowances based on things that we have had injected into our body, or actions that we have taken, associations that we have, interactions that we have online, whether it's just posting an article, and here's the other thing that you need to think about. Many people on the left have considered just typical things such as opinion to be hate speech. And they are backed by these major corporations. And as you can see from China's social credit scoring system, even corporations can decide whether or not you should have a lower score. Now, if Twitter has a habit, and Facebook has a habit of restricting conservative speech and labeling conservative speech as hate speech or as problematic in general, what makes you think that your social credit scoring system is going to be fair to you? The moment that you actually express any kind of opinion that doesn't go with their flow, they lower your credit scoring system, or I'm sorry, they lower your credit social score, and your life becomes that much harder. That's the kind of thing that we're facing right now. It sounds hyperbolic, but it's not, because we see it happening in China right now. And there are way too many corporations in America especially who are getting a little too friendly with China. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you're made aware when we upload new content. See you in the next video.